Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. I always get so many questions about the sorts of supplies that I use when we are notebooking. And it's one of those things that really is individualized to each family because there are so many different ways that people incorporate notebooking. There are so many different ways that kids like to express themselves while they're notebooking that it's a very good chance that the supplies in one house might not look exactly the same as the notebooking supplies in another house. But today I thought that I wanted to share with you my must-have notebooking supplies to give you some ideas. Okay, well, I think it goes without saying that you need to have some sort of notebook in order to start notebooking. Now, you can use a variety of different notebooks. You could use 3-ring binders, composition books, spiral notebooks. I know that some people have theirs spiral bound at like an Office Depot or a similar store to that. And we've already used 3-pronged folders. But over our time notebooking, and as we get more used to it and more in our groove with it, I found that we really tend to stick to 2 sorts of notebooks. And those are 3-ring binders, which are our go-to, and composition books. Now, with the 3-ring binders, I actually used to get a smaller 3-ring binder, which is about this size. Because for the longest time, every time that we had a new topic to notebook about, my kids would start a new binder. And that worked really well until we started running out of room for all of those binders. Because while that certainly might be feasible in a home where you're only homeschooling maybe 1, 2, or even 3 kids, at this point I have 6 kids who are notebooking, and my 2 youngest have actually just asked for binders, which I did get for them because they would like to start doing it as well. And when you have that many kids notebooking, yeah, you really do run out of room fast. So what has ended up happening is we have shifted from these smaller binders to, right now we're at 2-inch binders. And what I'm going to do is I am going to start dividing them by topic just by using the regular subject dividers. This isn't my first choice. It isn't something that I wanted to do. I really wanted to have a library of notebooks for each individual topic. But space-wise in our house, we have a really small house. We don't have a lot of storage. We have practically no storage. So this is something that we have to do just out of, again, necessity. Now, one thing that it might help with is that I noticed that with these smaller ones, this one here is a 1-inch binder. So with these smaller ones, my kids were filling them up super fast. And just the other day, my daughter tried to add something to her animal notebook. And since her notebook was so full, when she opened it up to add the other page, all the other pages came out. And that was a bit frustrating for her. So this should at least thwart that from happening again. So yeah, 3-ring binders. And this is just a new one that my daughter started for Beautiful Feet Books, Ancient History. And that's all that she has in it so far. That she also has a glossary in the back. But again, and if you see, I really let my kids use their creativity with their notebooking, because how many times are kids in school told by their teachers, you can't doodle on your paper, you can't color that unless it's something that's supposed to be colored, don't add stickers, keep your worksheet clean. And you know, I think that with notebooking, especially if you're trying to get your kids to like doing something that they don't usually like, i.e. writing, really letting them put some of their personality into their work is such a great motivation for them to want to actually work in it. So if you notice, yeah, this is what I do. And it goes, you know, throughout everything. So here she colored her copywork page too. And this is something that you will find throughout all their notebooks, including their copybooks, which is what we use the composition books for. I found that for our copywork, composition books really seem to do the trick the best. And I don't have my daughters here. One of my daughters, she likes to decorate each of her pages of her copybook with stickers and glitter and those sorts of things. This is my son, so he doesn't like to do that as much, although he did decorate this copybook with cardstock and stickers and all sorts of things. But that is really what we use the copybooks for, is for copywork. Everything else we tend to gravitate towards 3-ring binders. Now, one thing that I think is really important is to get sheet protectors. even if you are not using notebooking pages, if you are just using regular lined paper, sheet protectors are definitely something that you want to invest in because pages tear really quickly. Sometimes things are spilled and it can get on the page. Over time, things can start fading, and the sheet protectors really keep that from happening. And when your kids see that you have all of their hard work protected, it really helps them to understand that you value their work and they know that it's something that they're going to have for a long time around. So if you notice in this one, we use sheet protectors for all of this, and it's going to help her to have a keepsake when she's older so that all of these papers are still intact and legible. Now, getting into the notebooking pages. My favorite website for notebooking pages is notebookingpages.com. Here are some notebooking pages from there that I did print out. I'm going to take this first one off because my son dumped glitter on it earlier today and now it's stuck to the one underneath it. What I usually do is I will usually print out a bunch of different kinds of notebooking pages. Usually I will do the basic lined notebooking pages. I have the lifetime membership. I will usually use the basic lined notebooking pages because they really can be used for any topic at all. But if I know that she has notebooking pages for a specific topic that we're doing, I will print those up. But it's usually this sort that I have on hand because my kids can use them for anything. And I don't have any sort of special filing system for this. I know that some people do, but for me, everything just has to be simple and quick. So I usually just print up a bunch and I just keep it in a folder. And then my kids know where the notebooking folder is and they will go to it to get their pages. So I'm just going to show you some that I printed up recently, just so you can get an idea of the sorts of pages that you will find on notebookingpages.com. There are also primary lined notebooking pages as well. This is one that's just for like an illustration. So if you have a younger child, yeah, there are primary line pages as well. I don't have any here because I don't have any kids who are that young doing notebooking yet. Although, like I said, my 5-year-old was begging me for a binder, so I just bought her one yesterday. So she very well will get started with that soon. This looks like a mini book that I printed up. So anyway, so yeah, you will find those. Again, I will leave the link down below for notebookingpages.com. Another great resource for notebooking pages is notebookingfairy.com. And I will leave that link down below too. But I have to say that with notebookingpages.com, there is a free sampler with over 600 notebooking pages. It's a download. Yes, you get that for free, over 600 pages. I do believe that the lifetime membership is worth getting simply because even though there are over 600 pages in the sampler, there aren't really that many basic lined notebooking pages, and the topics that are given in the sampler, it's just a couple notebooking pages for the topics that they have in there. Whereas in the lifetime membership, it feels to me like you can find a notebooking page for anything in there. Honestly. And the basic lined notebooking pages, there are so many of them in the lifetime membership. In the sampler, there are a few basic lined notebooking pages, but in the lifetime membership, it's just, they're endless. It is definitely worth getting. And I have to point out that she is ending the lifetime membership. I believe it's in either this month or next month. We're in March right now. So if it is something that you would like to do, I suggest you do it quickly because very soon she's going to be switching from the lifetime membership to having to pay for it monthly, like a monthly subscription. If you do have a lifetime membership, that's always a lifetime membership. Nothing changes with that. But the only thing that's changing is that you don't have that much time to get a lifetime membership. So yeah, that really is something to consider doing quickly. If you so choose to. All right, so obviously I didn't get printer paper because, you know, that's obvious. I don't need to show you printer paper. You need printer paper, you need ink, you need a printer if you're going to use notebooking pages, unless you use like a printing company. But we don't do that. I just print out my own. And those are just the main notebooking resources that I use, the ones that you will typically find in every homeschool that uses notebooking anyway. But this is where I start getting some of my kids' craftiness involved into our notebooking, because again, I want them to make their notebooks theirs. They have the freedom to decorate it in any way they want, put any pictures in. They can smash anything that they can flatten. They are welcome to put in their notebooks. That's another reason we have the sheet protectors, because they're great for putting like pressed flowers, or my kids have already made animal masks for their animal notebooks. So yeah, my kids have free reign in what they choose to put in their notebooks. And again, it's important. Your kids like to have that choice. They like to make things their own. Now with my kids, since they are very, very artsy, I really do stock up on a lot of art supplies for them to use with their notebooks. And I have right behind me is our art cabinet. And my kids know that that's where they will find any of the art supplies. Now they know that I just recently restocked our art cabinet. So right now they know that all of our supplies are down there. But very often, like over time, they get so used to them being there that they kind of forget that the art supplies are there. And I find that they're not using them so much in their notebooks. And in those cases, I will very often just pull out a bunch of art supplies and I'll set them on the table. And that way, if they see them while they're notebooking and they want to use them, that's awesome. If they see them and choose not to use them, that's okay too, because again, it's up to them how they decorate their notebooks. But just some ideas for things that you can use to decorate notebooks is I always keep some cardstock handy. Cardstock is great. Sometimes my kids like to cut out their notebooking pages like a little bit smaller, and then they will glue them on here and use this as a border. Sometimes, what else will they do? We used cardstock actually to make the covers for these copy workbooks. That was also done with cardstock, and washi tape is, oh, did he? Yeah, he did. And washi tape as well, which we actually don't have right now. I forgot to get washi tape. But you know, cardstock is one of those things that's very versatile, and I don't tell my kids what they have to do with it. They just know that it's there for them to use. They can do whatever they want. They can use it to make a puppet. They can use it to cut something out and glue it to a notebooking page. Literally anything that they want to use it for. Something else that my kids really like to have for their notebooks are stickers. And I actually just bought like 5 or 6 packs of stickers, and this is pretty much all that's left right now already, like a day or two later, because my kids go crazy with stickers and they love to decorate their notebooks with these. So stickers are something else, another way for your kids to individualize their work. And it's something else that, especially if they've been in school, their teachers have probably told them, don't do stuff like that to your work. But here it's like, yes, do it. By all means, do it. Glitter. My kids love glitter for their notebooking pages too. This is probably going to fall apart. So yeah, I mentioned that my daughter uses glitter on her copy work, but my kids will use it on their notebooking pages as well. They'll use it to decorate the covers of their notebooks, anything. It's just stuff that I have on hand. This is never something that I expect my kids to use. I have it there in case they want to use it. And all of these things are inexpensive enough that even if they choose not to use it, it's not a biggie. It really isn't. Although I know with my kids, it's gonna get used. I also will sometimes buy some little felt things for them to glue onto their pages and decorate with, especially if they're going to be doing a notebooking page about like Easter or spring. Little felt craft items are good. We love Dollar Tree. I get a lot of these supplies at Dollar Tree. I've also gotten a lot of these supplies at Five Below. If you have one near you, they have fantastic supplies there. Any craft store like an AC Moore or a Michaels, sometimes Joann Fabrics, and of course Amazon is another place where you can purchase any sorts of supplies as well. We also have glitter glue too. So not just glitter, we also have glitter glue. And speaking of glue, we always want to have some glue on hand. Here we have liquid glue, we have glue dots, and we have glue sticks. I also usually try to have rubber cement on hand because I have found that rubber cement really holds things the best when it comes to notebooking. I prefer rubber cement to any other sort of glue. I forgot to get it when I just restocked, so now I'm gonna have to now that I reminded myself. Googly eyes. Yeah, these are googly eyes, and you probably are thinking to yourself, what does that have to do with notebooking? Creativity, that's what it has to do with notebooking. Or like in my kids' animal notebook, sometimes when they would draw the animals, they would put googly eyes on them. Anything that is going to spark your kids' interest and make them excited about what they're doing, do it. Just anything that you find at these stores that you think looks neat and is inexpensive, just stock up on it and leave it there for your kids to have at it. We also have beads to decorate with, even like these little pom-pom things. They're just little pom-poms. And did my daughter use it on here? Let me see. No, I think it was my other daughter who used used the pom-poms on hers. But if you look here on my daughter's, she used the little felt flowers to decorate. Of course, she got the googly eyes in there. She has stickers everywhere. So it's worth it. It's definitely worth the investment. Now, when it comes to pencils, there's nothing more annoying for your kids to write a notebooking page or to create a notebooking page if they have pencils that the tip keeps breaking or they don't want to sharpen right. So that is one thing I recommend that you do not get at the dollar store are pencils. The best pencils that you can get, which again, I forgot to stock up on, so I don't have any to show you. I have to get some when I go to the store, or either I have to order some. Ticonderoga pencils. They are the best pencils, and they are the only pencils that do not frustrate us to no end. Now, to color the pages with, markers. Good quality markers. You don't want ones that fade, while they're coloring. We like Mr. Sketch because not only do they color really well, they smell good too. And what's better than a notebooking page that smells good, right? We also like Sharpies too. Sharpies are another great marker for your kids to have, although you might not want to let your really young kids have them because they are so permanent. But Sharpies are a good idea to have on hand too. Oh, colored pencils. I didn't pull out my colored pencils, but colored pencils, sometimes the pages that they want to color have really, fine details that they really don't want to use a thicker marker with. So colored pencils are also good. Some kids also like to have the more muted colors that come from colored pencils than markers. So colored pencils are also something that you want to think about. But anyway, I just want to see if I got everything. I think that's it. Now, does this mean that these are the only things we will ever use in our homeschool for notebooking? Absolutely not. I am always one of those people that when I go to Dollar Tree or I go to Five Below, the first aisles I check are the craft aisles because I am always trying to find things that my kids can use for notebooking, that they can use for other crafts that they do, because they're just, even today, they were using lunch bags to make puppets. My kids like their crafts. So again, it's an investment worth doing for your kids, especially if you have crafty kids. But even if you don't have crafty kids, sometimes all they need is the motivation of seeing them there. The intrigue, something that they don't usually do. So if you just leave it out, you never know. That might be something that they start to gravitate towards, and you might end up with a kid that is crafty. So anyway, yeah, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one down below. And if you like my work, you can check out my Patreon page and see what rewards I have for my patrons there. And I hope you have a great day.